So they've been taking uranium from Niger, and they've been filling France nuclear power plant. And let me tell you this. So in France, there's a nuclear power plant. Niger right now is contributing 18% of that uranium. Back in the days, it was contributing a lot of it, more than 18%. But they've been taken over and over and over again. What they do is this uranium goes to France, fill the nuclear power. France, they generate electricity and they sell to other countries across the world. Every single year, France is making $3.3 billion out of these nuclear power plants. And guess what? Guess what they do with that money? They give it back to Niger as aids and loans. The deadline that ECOWAS imposed to Niger, it ended yesterday. Right now, Africa, the whole continent, and the world is waiting to see what is going to be the next move for ECOWAS. What is next for our people and for Niger from now onwards? It's $1 million question that nobody is able to answer except ECOWAS. Will they decide to invade even though Nigeria Senate has opposed? Or will they choose to back down and find another solution with the people and for the people of Niger? One important question to ask ourselves is that the Niger coup and ECOWAS, will they make decision for the people of Niger and not otherwise? And not to prove the point, like one of the leaders from ECOWAS said, that we must make an example to Niger. Because we've been having these issues for a long time. For the past 3 years, there have been 7 different coups in the same country. So we must make an example to the rest of Africa that we are here. Therefore, we're going to invade Niger. Is that going to be the reason why to invade Niger? To make an example? By killing people? By starting a war to this beautiful continent, to this beautiful country of Niger? And to the coup? What is going to be the move next? To invite Russians so that this war can escalate between Russia, US, France, and so Niger, it will be the battleground and it will be collateral damage to our people. We must think about these issues constantly. What is going to happen if the war is going to break out in Niger? Niger people must think critically, and our people in Africa must think critically, because for now, not only Mali, not only Burkina Faso, but also Senegal has decided to support. And so my question is this gonna be another greatest war in Africa to happen? Or we can decide, ECOWAS, African Union, to stop right now and to find a better solution for our people. Honestly, there's only one solution in here right now. For all African leaders to come together with one strong voice and to put it to an end to foreign intervention in the continent. If African leaders are not going to step up together as one, with one statement to stop foreign intervention in Africa, Niger is going to go to a war. And the result is not going to be good. It's very disturbing me to see that African leaders are completely silent and quiet They leave everything to Niger, leave everything to ECOWAS, and they're not saying anything about this matter. There was supposed to be an emergency meeting of all African leaders right now going on to find a solution to Niger's problem. But what are you guys doing? Because Niger is an African country, just like the rest of other African countries. It has been exploited for so long. Because colonialism always leads to the exploitation of the colonies. And we have seen that in so many countries in the western part of Africa, especially French colonies, because they received their independence in 1960, but colonialization or neo-colonialism, it has always been happening in these countries. There has never been an equal, dynamic relationship with the former French colonies for so long. And you can say neo-colonialism has been happening in these French colonies for so long time. In Africa, we have been quiet. Africa, we haven't been fighting for the unity. I blame Africa for what is happening in Niger. I blame Africa for what happened in Mali. I blame African leaders for what has been happening in the continent, because we had a choice to stop this by coming together and unite as one Africa, but we choose not to do so. And therefore, we have been struggling with these issues since 1960s until today. What is happening in Niger today? Yet our leaders are quiet. Why? Because US is involved, because France is involved. They're not saying anything. You guys, you just had a meeting, a summit with Macron just a couple weeks ago in France. You guys were talking to him. We have seen William Ruto addressing to him directly. We have seen the president of South Africa. We've seen Zambia. We have seen. But why are you guys now quiet and you're not saying anything to what is happening in Niger? Were you guys forming a relationship with only your countries and not the entire continent of Africa? You guys were talking about African continent. Why now you're quiet? Why you're not saying anything now? Why you're leaving Niger alone now? Is it because democracy has been jeopardized? Nobody, I'm sorry, let me say this. Nobody give a shit about democracy. At this point, it has nothing to do with democracy. It has everything to do with Africa's safety. It has everything to do with the safety of Africans in the continent. If you're talking about democracy, you're still promoting US, you still promote French, you're still welcoming them to come in here. And what's going to happen? Our people are going to be killed. Because these guys, they're not going to leave it. So I was watching one of the interviews. One of the France delegate was being interviewed. And this is what he was saying. It's very hypocritical and very rude of him. Because he was saying that, he said, you know, right now Niger, you know, he's not really our important, you know, partner, because he's like on the list of number 5. You know, giving us uranium. But back in the days, in 1970s, 1960s, yeah, he used to be very important. So right now, even if we don't have that relationship, we are still going to survive. But let me ask you a question. Why is that? It's because since 1950s, 60s, 70s, 80s, you have been taking uranium away, gold, oil away from Niger for your own good. And he also said, he had a decency to say that we have a huge reserve of uranium already. Let me tell you, let me give you facts. What France has been doing so far. This is what they've been doing. So they've been taking uranium from Niger and they've been filling France nuclear power plant. And let me tell you this. So in France, there's a nuclear power plant. Niger right now is contributing 18% of that uranium. Back in the days, it was contributing a lot of it, more than 18%. But they've been taken over and over and over again. What they do is this uranium goes to France, fill the nuclear power. France, they generate electricity and they sell to other countries across the world. Every single year, France is making $3.3 billion out of this uranium power plant, nuclear power plant. And guess what? Guess what they do with that money? They give it back to Niger as aids and loans. This is the reason why we are completely against with aids and loan to Africa, because it's not really aids, it's not really loan, but it is our money. These guys, they're not giving us their money, they're giving us our money. They take raw materials from Africa, they process in their countries, they sell it with higher price, and then they bring it back to Africa as loans and aid. And then we need to pay them back because we have debts. I would say the same thing to Chinese, the loans they're giving to Chinese. Chinese are everywhere. If you go to Congo, they are in one of the forests. They're taking minerals for many years. They've been there living. Everywhere. They're in mining sectors. Everywhere. They're taking raw materials. They bring it to their countries. They process it. And then when they get money, they send to us as a loan and aid. And we need to pay back to them. And today you have Africans who are really happy with the loans and aid, that, oh, these guys, they love us. These guys are giving us loans. Guys, there is no loan. There is no aid. These guys, they can never give you their money. They're giving you your own money. We have been ignorant for so long time. Man, friends generate 3.3 billion US dollar because of the uranium. Some of the uranium that is coming from Niger. And the same money they give back to Niger as a loan and aid. And still, Niger is supposed to return that money back to friends at the end of the day. Do you see this dynamic? And our leaders knows this. Because we're giving them gold, we're giving them oil, we're giving them uranium, we're giving them diamond, we're giving them every single materials we have. We're giving them coffee. Museveni was just sharing the other day in Russia-Africa Summit that the one that is benefit with coffee is German. German, they don't even grow coffee. But the money that they generate every single year out of coffee is more than the money that Africa is generating. And a lot of coffee come from Africa. Tanzania, Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda. Coffee is everywhere in Africa, South Africa, everywhere. And the money that we generate every single year out of coffee, it doesn't even compare with German. In German, they don't even produce coffee. Guys, they have never been loan and aid in Africa. They've never been aid. That's your money, Africans. Do you understand me? That is your money. The money that USA that we're giving back to Africa, in US-Africa Summit, this President Biden, he said that, okay, we're going to give 50 billion as a loan or aid to African countries. You have 54 different countries and you give 50 billion. Man, what is it going to do to Africa? And that money is not that, is ours. Do you know every single year Africa lose in the range of 50 to 100 US billion dollar every single year? Every single year Africa is losing that because of so-called relationships we have, taking it away from us. Raw materials taking it away from us. That's why right now leaders are awakening and they say, hey, we don't want to give you guys raw materials. We want to start trading with you with the finished product from Africa. If coffee, you need to take the finished product coffee from Africa. Why, man? But it took us so long time, more than 60 years. It took us more than 60 years to realize that. Today we start demanding to do that. We have everything we need. God has blessed us with everything. Yet, we let these guys come to our continent. These guys, we made a mistake during colonialism. We made a mistake, a big mistake, because we opened up our borders, we sold our people, and these guys came. They colonized us. We fought with our blood, sweat, and tears, and we lost a lot of our leaders because of those fights, a lot of great leaders. And today we still let these guys come in with an equal power dynamic relationship with them. They have been exploiting Africa, taking gold, taking diamond, taking oil, taking nuclear, taking uranium, taking everything from Africa. We've let them do that. They process in their countries, they generate income and benefit, and they give us back the money as a loan and aid that we need to pay them back. Do you know how much debt Africa is having today? Some of African countries can be sold today because of the debt from the US, France, UK, China, today even Arabs. Do you know how much debt Africa is having today? And yet we are still sleeping. And yet you have puppet like ECOWAS, sometimes African Union standing there and say that we must protect the democracy. While you know the reason why they took that leader from Niger, it's because, first of all, he was not representing the wants of the people, the needs of the people. So what happened is, right now, coup took regime, but they have already revoked 5 military agreements. 5 agreements with the France already revoked. That has been done in the time of 10 years right now, 10 to 20 years. They revoked it. These guys have been protecting their country for a long time. They are, I understand military, why they're taking. I understand. And let me tell you this if you don't understand. These guys are the ones that have been fighting for our countries. When new leaders have been making mistakes, they're the ones that are putting their lives in front line fighting. And most of people who died are soldiers. Not only civilians, but soldiers have died a lot because they put their lives on the line again and again and again to fight for their people. These guys, they're ready to die for their country, defending, protecting their country. That's what I've been trying to do. That's what they've been doing all this time. But when they see there's a leader there that is just puppet, is still selling the country, people are still struggling, people are still suffering, country is still struggling with terrorism, and they know who is supporting those terrorist groups to fight with our own people. They know it's them, Western countries. They know. They're the one who funding them. They're the one who giving them weapons. They're the one doing everything. They know it. That's why these guys are taking over the government. Are you going to blame them? They're the one who fights for the country. Why not leading the country then? They're the one who have been defending the country. They're the one who losing their lives. They're the one who been killed. When the war break up, you know what, leaders, you guys, you just hide somewhere, or you travel to another country. What are they doing then? The battlefield, fighting for the country. Today, when they take leadership, you start saying that, oh, we're putting sanctions on you, you should leave. What kind of hypocrisy is this? This is hypocrisy of us, hypocrisy of African Union, hypocrisy of our leaders. We can't keep entertaining this. Leave them alone. They care about country more than your. Military, they care about the countries more than your, because they're ready to fight anytime for the countries. Maybe the regime of military in this region will shed some light again to these countries, because they're true patriotic. Today, Niger supply 18% of uranium to France and 5% to the world. It's number 7, the highest producer, among the highest producers of uranium. And I'm telling you, man, imagine for all these years, before and after colonialism, they've been taking uranium from that country. This country had a lot of reserve. And not only uranium, I'm not mentioning here gold and oil from Niger. So what to do now? As I said at the beginning of this video, what has to be done right now is very simple. Very simple. All African leaders to call a quick meeting, to meet up, to talk, to give one strong stand, because the time is now. Or an equal dynamics of these relationships that we've been having with Western countries must come to an end today. Must come to an end right now. What is happening in Niger is going to happen to our countries. It's going to happen to your country anytime when you don't ally with their needs. Man, I was surprised that these summits that have been called, our leaders have been summoned. The US-Africa Summit, our leaders were summoned. Let me say that again, summoned to go there. Whether you want or you don't want, you like or you don't like, you must go. And let me give you just an evidence. During Russia and Africa summit, not all the leaders went because they had a choice either to go or not to go. And some leaders maybe do not agree with Russia, they did not go. But look at US summit. How many leaders went there? Everybody. Why? They were summoned. If you don't come, we're not going to give you aid. If you don't come, we're going to give you sanction. Aid? Aid is money. It's our money. Africa's money. Guys, Africa has been sustaining the world before colonialism and after colonialism. Africa has been doing that for so long. Sustaining, it means developing, strengthening mentally and physically. Materialistically. Africa has been doing that to the world. Man, I wish my people knows, I wish every Africa listen to this, that guys, those loans and aids, it's not their money, it's your money. They take it away from you and they give you away. They take it away as the raw materials and they give you away as money, and you need to pay them back for your own thing. Man, look at this. These guys are business people. These guys are capitalist countries. And that's what you do. I studied economics. I know how it works. That's what they do to maximize their profit by using your own raw materials, and then they process in their countries and sending you back the raw materials. They get a lot of profits out of it, and they give you a little bit of it as a loan so that you may return later. You think they care about you? They don't care about you. Western never care about you. Nobody cared about Africa. Nobody cares about Africa. Let me say this. No one cares about Africa. No one. Not Chinese, not Asia, not European, not Russia, not anyone, not Americans. Guys, please understand this. Understand this. Please understand this. Because some of you are mixing right now because Western countries, Western influence is falling in Africa. You are turning to someone else. You think China, you think Russia, they care about Africa. Let me say this. Yes, they might not have this, they might not do the same thing as Western people do, but they don't care about Africa. They care about your potential. They care about your resources. They care about that. If Niger has been sustaining Europe for so long time in the world, they can still do that to other countries as well. So if you know that, you're gonna wake up. If you know that you're actually the one in power, Africa is actually in charge. If you know that, if Africans, we know that our minds have been opened, please, I pray that God may open our mind and our hearts and our understanding to understand that this continent has been blessed with everything, and we are the one with the power. We have power in our hands, and the military coups who are taking over Western Africa, they know that. That's why these agreements that have been there for so long time, an equal treatment between them and us, they have been revoked today because they know we have power, we have everything. Africa, please, God, open up our understanding to understand that you have power. Africa, you have all the power, and they depend in your power. Please, listen to me. Please, listen to me. You have all the power, and they know it, and they depend on your power, and they rely on your power, and they want your power so bad. Please listen to this. Listen to me now. If you know that, just think about coffee. Think about uranium right now, just in Niger. But I haven't even spoken about Congo, the richest country on earth that has all kind of minerals in the earth. The phones you're using today, the minerals comes from Congo. That's the power. You know, Apple company and all this phone company, Samsung, whatever, LG, they're supposed to be here in Africa. They're supposed to be Africans because they take materials from here. Listen, that's power. That is power. Coffee, that is power. Uranium, gold, oil, diamond, that is power. Africa, you have power. African leaders, please make a stand right now. Make a stand right now. It is the time right now to stop foreign intervention in Africa. If you stand with one voice, it's going to stop. I'm telling you, it's going to stop, because right now, what they do, Western, they look at the different countries in Africa. Okay, Niger. Okay, which country will we have leverage? Which country have the most leverage? Man, we gotta cut those ties. We gotta cut those ties right now. If we do that, 54 leaders, if we do that right now in Africa, they're not even gonna sanction you. They're not. They need what you have. They're not going to sanction you. You know, when they sanction you, you know what's going to happen? All the foreign companies from their countries are going to withdraw from Africa. They need to leave. If they leave, no more gold, no more diamond, no more oil, no more nothing. We can start there. Africa, we can start there. Yes, we'll struggle, but we can start there building our continent by ourselves. We can start doing that. We can do that. We can build our economy. We can do that. We don't need plan A, B, C, D. No, the time is done. You guys were supposed to do that a long time ago. Since independence, 1960, most of our African countries, you guys were supposed to do that. You were supposed to have strategy. So right now, where's the strategy? Leaders, youth, we are asking, where's the strategy? What kind of strategy do you have right now? Show us the strategy. Because don't tell us that, oh, we need to plan this. No. You're supposed to plan that for all these 60-something years. You're supposed to plan. Right now, it's the time to withdraw. It's the time to sanction them. Guys, it is the time. Zimbabwe has been surviving. People are still living there. Eritrea has been surviving with those sanctions. Right now, Africa, entire continent, we must sanction them. I don't care about the agreement. I don't care about anything. We need to sanction them. Let's sanction them. They ain't gonna do anything. They're not gonna do anything because they need Africa. The collapse is the time for Western countries to collapse. The world is going to collapse without Africa. I'm telling you guys, the moment you just sanction them, the moment they're gonna come back to you with different deals. They'll say, okay, we understand. Now we are willing, even you guys to have 70 and us 30, because they need it. Guys, it's a basic need. Africa is a basic need to the rest of the world. Tweet that and hashtag Mika Chavala and Swahili Nation. Africa is the basic need to the rest of the world. It is a basic need. What is the basic need, guys? Food, shelter, and clothes. Africa has been feeding the world. Africa has been sheltering the world. The electricity, everything. Africa has been doing that. Food, coffee, everything. Africa has been doing that. Africa is the basic need to the rest of the world. They cannot live without Africa. They cannot survive without Africa. They cannot last a minute without Africa. They know it. That's why they exploit you. That's why they undermine you. That's why they kill your leaders. That's why they look down on you. That's why they take some of your people, the neo-slavery. Let me say this, neo-slavery. There's neo-colonialism, but there's neo-slavery. They take your bright kids, they give them scholarship, brain drain. They take them away from Africa and they give them good jobs in America, in the UK, in Asia. They work there every single day. They work their butt off to actually to bring success to the rest of the world. And why Africa is bleeding. Today in the UK, in the US, there's a lot of Nigerian doctors. Thousands and thousands of Nigerian doctors are there working for the colonizers. While our people here in the continent, they don't even have doctors. Why don't you guys go to another countries in Africa? Yes, maybe you're searching for money. Yes, but it is a time for our people to move back to the continent. Come back home. Continent needs you. Needs you. Yes, you need money. Yes, you need to provide for your family. But man, continent is dying without you. It's a time for our people to come together, man. If leaders are coming together and our people needs to come together, it is the time. The time is now. I don't care whether the strategy or not. I don't care about that. It's the time. Time is now. We must sanction ourselves. When we sanction ourselves, we sanction them. Africa, it's the time to take a stand now. We're ready. The people of Africa, we are ready. Look at the social media. Look at how many people they went to support coup in Niger this Sunday. In the stadium in the Niger, look at how many people. Look at that. Look at that. Please watch that. Look at that. Those are our people. They are ready. We are ready, Africans. Leaders, don't be cowards. Make decision right now. I want I don't beg. Man, I don't beg. You guys are supposed to work for us. We choose to. I don't beg. Leaders, you must take a stand right now. The only thing is going to save Niger right now is for all African countries, African leaders to stand in solidarity with Niger. African people, they're doing that. Every single African I see, they're standing with Niger. Only leaders are not saying anything. And shame on y'all. Shame on you. Shame on you, because you're supposed to be there for the people, for Africa. Shame on you. We ain't scared anymore. We ain't scared of you. We ain't scared of Westerners. We only fear God. We fear God. And it is the time. Niger must be in peace. And that decision is in our hands. I said this before, that the difference between where you are and where you are supposed to be is a decision. What is standing between where you are right now and where you're supposed to be is a decision. The decision that you're going to make today can change everything in Africa. Just press the button, because you're not alone. That's why leaders are supposed to talk with one another. Let's speak one language. Let's speak one word, man. One Africa right now. We need it, man. I want to end this. I want to stop, but I cannot stop, man, because we need one Africa right now. We need one Africa right now, guys. We need one Africa right now. Without one Africa, there's no future for Africa. Nyerere said long time ago. Kwame Nkrumah said, guys. Kenneth Kaunda said, guys. All these our leaders said. Sankara said. A lot of our leaders said, guys. Please. No, I'm not gonna beg you. You don't deserve that. Do it right now. And ECOWAS, don't you dare invade Niger. Don't you dare do that. Because what's going to happen after that, it's going to be on you. The blood of our people that is going to be shed is going to be on you. And God is not going to stay silent. ECOWAS, African Union, you better choose wisely. Because that's blood. It's going to be on you. And we have shed a lot of blood already because of the stupid decisions that you guys have been making for so long time. So you dare to make this one as well. Because the blood is going to be on your hand. And we're not going to stay silent. We can avoid this blood by coming together. Wake up, African leaders. Wake up, African leaders. Speak with one strong voice. Stand with one another. It is the time right now. It is the time to clean your hands. It is the time to repent. It is the time to turn away from all the wicked ways that you have committed for so long time in this continent. It is the time. It is the time Africa needs leadership right now. It needs leadership. The reason why Milta is taking over because there's no leadership. Now it is the time because we are to blame. It's your time now to show who you are. It is your time now to stand with the people of Africa. Every single African is standing with Niger right now. Every single country, every single people, every single African. Does that tell you nothing about us? Well, Africa is leading herself right now. it even shows that we don't need your leadership because we're leading ourselves right now. It's easy for you because we're ready. It's easy for you. Just make decision. It's easy for you. Even if you're not going to make decision, we're going to make decision. Because the power is in our hands right now. We know our power. We're not ignorant. We know that AIDS and loan is not the gesture of them loving us. No. It's them giving us what is ours. They're actually feeling guilty. Let me say this. The AIDS and loans, it's actually the way of them feeling guilty for what they've taken to us. So they give it to us. That, okay, let's give them these AIDS. No. You're feeling guilty because you're taking our money. You've been doing that for so long time. And I'm telling you, I'm not going to be surprised if I don't see you guys in heaven. I'm not going to be surprised if I don't see Western countries in heaven. I'm not going to be surprised. Because you're evildoers. And when I'm saying this, I'm not meaning all other people. I know people. And no, let me call upon you people. The Western people, you know what your countries have been doing to Africa for so long time. You guys as well, if you want to clean your hands, speak about it. Because you're not innocent. I'm not going to sit here and say that all Western people, they're innocent, they don't know what's going on. No. The electricity that has been taken, stolen from Africa, you guys are using it too. Your countries are benefit, you guys are benefit. The infrastructure, the food, the security, everything that you guys have is coming from Africa. It's a time for you guys as well to speak against your own countries. Don't just stay there and be like, these Africans, they just talk again. No. Speak against your country. If you want to clean your hands, speak against your country. Don't just say, my ancestors did this, our leaders are doing this is about our policies. No, you guys rise up and start talking about it. We've seen some of the speakers from America speaking against this, against the exploitation of Africa. What are the rest of Western people doing? You speak against it too. Because you benefit from Africa. Whether you know it or you don't know, today I've given you data. You speak about it. You're not innocent. Nobody's innocent. Not African, not Western, not anyone is innocent in this. But you're more guilty than us. And you gotta make a decision. I want peace. We want peace. We want unity. We want stability to this continent. And we can make it happen. To leaders, to Africans, and to the rest of the world. Let's stand together. It's time for Africa to shine. Africa shall never fall down. Africa is going to be prosperous. Africa is going to stand again with herself. Africa will survive. It is well with Africa. It is well with Africa. We are not scared anymore. We are not afraid of you anymore. We only fear God, the creator of the universe. And He is standing with us today. This confidence and this hope we have for Mother Africa is coming from Him. It's coming from the awareness of knowing who we are and what we can do. Africa, you have so much potential. Africa, you have so much ability. Africa, you have so much power. Africa, you need to come together, because only with unity, you'll be able to stand against these imperialists. You'll be able to overcome. You'll be able to stand tall. There is hope for Africa. And the hope of Africa is me and you. The hope of Africa is youth who are understanding their countries and want to see the change. That's the hope for Africa. And let me warn you who are leading this continent. It's the time to listen to your people and stand to your people, because Africa is not the same. It's no longer the same. And don't lead this continent based on the old standards. It's a new age, baby. It's 2023. If you don't know that, I feel sorry for you. If you know that, it's better for you. Because it's time to act. And it's time to walk the talk. God, I thank you for Africa. I thank you for Niger. Today, I'm not praying for anything, but I just praise you for this knowledge and this understanding about this beautiful continent. Thank you because you're going to do something new. And you are doing already something new. I see awakening. I see horizon. The beginning of something new. I see the early morning sun, 5 a.m. The really beautiful sunlight's horizon in Africa. I see Africans living together in peace and harmony. I see Africans traveling from one country to another peacefully without the resistance of border. I see Africans holding in their hands one Africa passport. I see Africans loving one another regardless of their religion, tribes. I see Africans living in peace and harmony. I see Africans care nothing about their tribes because they know who has been dividing, who has been causing troubles in Africa. I see Africa sanction themselves and decide to stand for ourselves because laws and aids is our money. I see Africa realizing that. I see Africa changing, completely changing her direction. I see Africa shining like a morning star. I see Africa shining like a sun, that without it there's no life, without it there's no new beginning, without it there is no meaning. Africa is shining. Africa is shining today. Niger is shining. It's shining today, it's shining. Through Niger, the world will know that Africa is not the same again. Through Niger, there will be a new beginning for Africa. I see African leaders coming together in solidarity with Niger. African leaders coming together. Not for Western agenda, not for their personal agenda, but for Africa's agenda. Africa's solutions to Africa's problem with Africa's money. I see that happening. I see it. I see Africa. I see Africa. Africa, you are the best. Africa, you are the mother of the nature. Africa, you are the mother of the world. Africa, your life. Africa, 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 you are the promised land. I see life in Africa. I see life of our people. I see life, all these diseases, God, they're moving away. I see life in Africa because God is life. And we believe and trust in you, and we turn back to you. And we trust and we thank you. I see horizon in Africa. The best is yet to come, and sky is not a limit for Africa. I see new dimension. I see new potential. I see sons and daughters of Africa running to Africa to defend this motherland. I see them running. I see them taking flights right now. I see them not settling. I see them not settling, even not having a good sleep outside of Africa because they want so bad to move back to the continent. I see it. I see. Thank you, God. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Christ. I see. Thank you, my King. I see Africa. He's waking up. Thank you, God. I see a better future for our children. I see Africa's resources being used for Africans. I see Africa as a new superpower. It has always been a superpower, but now it's the time to step up. I see. I hope you see.